What's going on, y'all? I'm back with another quick volume. Welcome to the franchise here. Back to tapping a little bit more about the NFL and some of the word that's been out there with some of the stories and everything like that, and just a few of my ideas of what probably should or shouldn't be going down when it comes to this free agency stuff going on, and maybe some draft scenarios going on as well, and also some trades that's going on that might be going on or be coming down the line as well. So with that being said, let me tap straight into it for y'all. Word is out there now, and this is one of my ideas as well that I said they probably should do after the Super Bowl, but the word is out now that Buffalo's saying they're also going to try and pursue Myles Garrett, as they should. They definitely should make that move, I think, with the blueprint being out for the past few years on how to really stop the Chiefs' offense and Mahomes with that pass rush. You got to have someone who's going to bully those offensive linemen. It only makes sense if you're going to be one of those teams in the AFC to get a dominant pass rusher off the edge while you have some good pass rushers on the interior, so you could really make it difficult for Patrick Mahomes. You could get over the hump and get in that big game and probably get you a championship as well. My thing is this on that also is they better not let the Eagles, pull that shit off with trying to trade for Myles Garrett. As I also said in a previous volume that I seen the story there a couple times, and more recently seen it again that, the Eagles are trying to, they're trying to finesse their way into making that deal to get Myles Garrett away from the Browns and bring him to their side, which will be crazy as hell because, with Josh Sweat and Milton Williams, they're going to be free agents and they're probably going to command, good deals for themselves, big deals for themselves, where the Eagles might not be able to pay them and everything like that. So you got your one edge rusher in Nolan Smith, the young boy who went crazy throughout the whole playoffs. You got him there. And then you got Graham, who's most likely going to retire. Shit, you might as well bring in the vet who really going to fuck shit up. We go back and repeat for this shit again, even if we got to see the Chiefs again, or Joe Burrow in the championship game, or Josh Allen in the championship game. So with that being said, the Bills, they better not let the Eagles pull this shit off. And if they really serious about this, making this move, it would be dope to see them pull it off so that they could, actually get over the hump and beat the Chiefs and get their asses in the championship game. So we'll see how that shapes out. Following that, another team that I thought should go for him as well is Detroit. But it doesn't seem like word is out yet. But shout out to them if they keeping it really low key, which I like teams that do that. It's good to see that. Was like, damn, I ain't see that shit coming. They kept it low, but they pulled it off. I like seeing that type of shit go down with certain teams. But it is said out there that Detroit is definitely gonna go for a pass rusher. They should go for a pass rusher in a draft or via trade for someone else if it isn't Myles Garrett, as they should. They definitely need to do that as well because Detroit is going to need that extra element on defense for sure on every level, especially with everyone healthy. I feel like at the linebacker level, they're really good. They got some guys that could play, make some plays. They produce. They have a presence on the field and everything like that. They bring an energy. They just got to be healthy there as well. They had some injuries on that level as well. D-line, they dealt with injuries all over the defense. D-line, of course, their best pass rusher, number one pick they had a couple years ago in Aiden Hutchinson. Hopefully he comes back to full strength healthy with the injury he had, which was tough. And then at defensive back, they had injuries to some of their draft picks, some other guys that were contributing and everything like that. So as long as they get healthy at every single level and then add an extra element on defense for sure, which I think pass rush they really need. It'd be dope if they had Myles Garrett. I could see them really challenging the Rams and the Eagles to get to the championship if they get a Myles Garrett, even if they draft a pass rusher and then trade for another one so that they have, people in the reserve. They got motherfuckers in the reserve and the replenishment on the defensive line to still keep bringing that pressure and stop the run and all that shit. They still should be in contention to, still rival the Rams and the Eagles up there. And then you got to watch out for the team that really knocked them off, too, in the Washington Commanders. So And they also, it was also said, I'm not sure how true it is, but it was also said that they might go for Myles Garrett also. So they're gonna have to add that element to their defense as well, so they don't get their ass bust, like they did from the Washington Commanders. So you got to look out for them now for seasons to come as well. The Bills, as well, like I said, they should go for Myles Garrett to try and get over the hump to beat the Chiefs. But then what about teams like Baltimore, right? Can't forget about Baltimore, right? As teams like the Bengals, they're gonna gear up to make their moves, with their offensive moves that they're making right now. They're trying to keep both of their receivers to make a good run next year. And let's see how they might draft. In this upcoming draft on defense and maybe a little bit more on offense. If they get a running back or something, like another more explosive and complete running back, or they hit on a lot of their defensive picks, or go for those positions that are really going to make a difference to get them ahead there. How they might draft. What about the Ravens? What should they do, right? I think that with the Ravens, for them also, if they should make a few moves to try and really get over on a hump as well and challenge the Bills for sure and challenge the Chiefs. I think they got the Bengals number a bit, but they're still going to come back stronger, so you got to replenish and be ready for that too, right? So I think the Ravens should definitely look into multiple spots, multiple positions in the first round, maybe at safety, offensive line, or even at corner as well. Maybe receiver in the first round. I'm not sure that the receiver I would take there at the spot that they're picking at. Or receiver is that important because you still got Bateman and Flowers there. I know Flowers gets hurt a little bit towards the end of the season, but Bateman had a really great year. He just needs to stay on strong and stay consistent with the steady production he had this season. But they could get that down the line. I think that down the line they could draft a good offensive lineman or receiver. They've been known in the past to draft a good offensive lineman, in the middle rounds and everything like that could contribute right away or that can produce. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. But I think they could get a guy, maybe a guy in the slot or another speed guy like a Jimmy Horn Jr. later on in the draft. Or get a big body guy, a big body target like a Savon Williams out of TCU in the draft as well, who's also dynamic. It's not just about receiving with him from what I was able to see and read up on. He also has a little bit of a Debo element to him, but he's a big body. So maybe you get one of those guys later on in the rounds in the draft. But in the first round, maybe a guy like Malachi Starks at the safety position if you want to keep adding on there, because you still got to D up the slot and the Khalil Shakir's out there. Whoever the Chiefs are gonna have in the slot, you gotta still D up the Gesicki's on the Bengals, even the Dalton Kincaid's on the Bills as well. So maybe a safety and Malachi Starks would be a good pick, or the dude who been having a crazy combine and shit. And to me, with his measurables and everything, I thought he was a linebacker, but then seeing how he did at the combine and what he's capable of and everything like that, and then the stories that's coming about how he does make plays on the balls. The ball, even Worry out of South Carolina. Shit, if those two guys drop that far, or let's say the Ravens get bold and jump up to make that play on one of them, but if one of them drops, Starks or Eamon Worry out of South Carolina, that would be a good look if they could snatch them up. If not, if they stay where they're at, I think a guy like Maxwell Hairston, who also had a pretty good combine, but as far as his 40 time, he ran faster than I thought he was going to. He looks like he could be a playmaker. Looking at his film and his tape, he likes to get his hands on the ball. He's a little bit handsy on playing the receivers. But one thing I like about DBs that I love to see is a dude that could get his hands on the ball and could flip the field. I've seen some film of him in plays where he's getting an interception and he's getting yards after his interception of flipping the field or taking it to the house. And I think that is the Ravens style, their brand of player that they usually like to draft. in years before, especially on defense. If you can make a play on the ball and you could get yardage or take it to the house with that. So I think that would be a good look, as, they may be in the market for another starting corner opposite of Nate Wiggins as well. And they still got Humphrey in the slot there. He plays in the slot. He kind of plays a little bit like a box safety and a corner in the slot sometimes and everything. So that would be dope to have those playmakers all across the board there. But now following that, what I want to also get into is some of the stories coming out as far as like quarterbacks that are free agents and where they should go or who should get them, whatever. So this story with Aaron Rodgers to the Giants or Sam Darnold to the Giants, right? It ain't sounding like a good look to me at all. I definitely don't think so. I said it before. Rodgers to Vegas, I think, makes the most sense with Stafford and the Rams now finally, coming to a common ground on the money and shit. That's out the picture, because I was thinking, well, shit, maybe the Rams with Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be a bad look and Devontae there. But if Rodgers doesn't go to Vegas, then you probably should just pack it up and take a little career hiatus, maybe just a small one, or I guess see who gets hurt in training camp, and then, go to that team if they're in contention and shake shit up. I think that's what it's going to have to be now at this point for him. Because the Giants wanted him or whatever sounds desperate. Him wanting to go to the Giants sounds a little bit, I guess, desperate. I don't know, but it's just not a good look. So if you can't get to the Vegas Raiders and mentor Shador, or even if Shador doesn't go there, you're at Vegas. If you want to see how this shit shakes out after the draft, go ahead and do your thing there and see how that goes. I don't know how that's going to go for bringing Devontae with you going back to Vegas. I don't think they want him back after the bullshit he pulled. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not bullshit, but like trying to be like, nah, get me out of here. Just to play with your friend in New York so they could fucking lose and just run up stats. I don't know how that would go. And then for Sam, I don't think Sam want no parts of going back to New York neither. He know the New York media, don't matter which team it is. If I was him, I'd be like, fuck no. I'm not going back to New York, and, like I said, I think that it's a better look. It's a smart play for both him and the Vikings, for him to sign back there on a 1-year franchise tag. After that, go get your money somewhere else, or you could get traded or something during the season if something happens, whatever, and then run up your bag somewhere else if you have another good season. But you got to prove again to me, I think you still got to prove again that you could be capable of being that quarterback that you was last year, more consistently. But it would be good for you in that system that you could show that. Other than that, for him, maybe the Colts or the Raiders. But with the Raiders, he's gonna have to show that he could be the guy to really make everyone better. I don't know if I would take that gamble. If I was him. The Colts got some weapons around him and everything like that. It looks like they're trying to build on defense a little bit more as well. And they're in a really good spot to get one of the good tight ends there. So maybe the Colts, because Anthony Richardson just ain't like that, and maybe you could let him start and shit until, I guess, Anthony Richardson might be ready if they don't want to give up on that pick. But I'm still stay on it. The Colts, they got to watch out for the Colts there with Sam Darnold. Sam, I wouldn't, honestly, if the Vikings don't want you back, just go right to the Colts, see what you could do there. They're going to draft the tight end, probably Tyler Warren out of Penn State, which wouldn't be a bad weapon for you on top of who else they already got there, and Michael Pittman, who you played with at USC, and they got A.D. Mitchell, and they got Josh Downs. They got all type of shit out there for you, and it's a dome again. So see if you can shake some shit up there, get your value up, and run up another big play for the bag. Now, I wanna end off with this, right? The Giants, right? So with all of this or whatever, like I said, Aaron Rodgers to the Giants, and down to the Giants. The Giants over here moving like they rather just sign or trade for a veteran quarterback, or they need to sign or trade for a veteran quarterback. No, y'all need to draft a quarterback. But they probably won't. Right? Because I think someone's going to make a trade where it's going to be quarterback number 1, quarterback number 2 with Shador and Cam Ward, right? But if one of them falls to them, they should draft one of them. Definitely Shador if he falls to them. But if they don't, or they won't for whatever reason, I got a crazy draft scenario situation here, right? I know it's gonna sound real crazy here, but it seems like everybody could win here, especially with the way that the Giants seem like they're operating. And they know, the coach and the GM, they know they probably out of there next year, either way and shit, right? So the Titans trade up with the Raiders, right? No, trade with the Raiders, right? So the Raiders go from 6 to number 1, right? They get Shador, right? But then the Titans, what they got from whatever they get from the Titans for that, because they're gonna get a lot or whatever, right? Then they make another deal and swap with the Giants, right? But in this swap with the Giants, they also give them Will Levis, which is a quarterback. I mean, he's trash, but who knows? Maybe Dable could be like, I could save him. I could, you know what I mean? Maybe he could help with the turnovers, just like he helped with Josh Allen, right? So they swap with the Titans, right? From where they at, right? Give them Will Levis also as part of the sweetheart deal. So then they go. Now the Giants go to 6, but they get their guy. They get a guy, not their guy, but they get a guy for right now, quarterback and Will Levis. The Titans get their guy if both quarterbacks go number 1 and 2 to the Raiders, to the Browns. Titans get their guy they probably wanted and still get some extra shit. And Abdul Carter, right? You get that, right? And then, you know, if the Pats don't draft an old lineman or don't draft a receiver, then the Giants could just pick Will Campbell or T-Mac. And they got a little quarterback to work with there, to, you know what I'm saying, for that last year for the GM and the coach did. And maybe the Titans is looking at another quarterback, in this draft down the line or what. Maybe it's someone else they got their eye on. Or maybe they be like, yo, fuck it, after this shit, we're going to try and make a hard play at Aaron Rodgers and draft a quarterback like Jackson Dart or Kyle McCord or whoever the fuck, you know what I'm saying, in this draft. And we got 2 quarterbacks and we got our guy. And then we probably could draft, or we could probably draft the guy we really want in next year's draft while we keep building this roster and shit. Who knows? I know that shit sound crazy as fuck, but in a weird way, in a crazy way, everybody kind of get what they want, I guess. You know what I mean? In this type of scenario. You know, imagine that. Giants get Will Campbell. You get another offensive lineman. You could trade out Evan Neal because you don't like how he been with the fans and how he been playing. Or you get another receiver for Will Levis. So you got T-Mac, you know, Ted McMillan, and you got Malik Neighbors. I mean, who fucking knows? And everybody kind of gets what they want between pick 1 and 5 or 1 and 6. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't know, just a crazy idea there with the draft scenario, because the way that the Giants are moving is, it's like they're acting like they don't want to or they don't need to draft either Shador or Cam Ward, which they probably should in this draft. But that's going to wrap up this quick volume for me right here. Welcome to the franchise. Y'all out there, be easy.